Hey, bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
Alright everybody, welcome back. So, the F-5C. One of the most popular premiums added to War Thunder of all time. It's been in the game for about 2 years now. It's been a rank 6 this entire time. And to be honest, if there is a premium plane you have, it's most likely going to be this thing. This thing has been a hot seller for a very long time, and only recently got surpassed by the F-4S whenever that came out. Partially because you can't efficiently research rank 8 with the F-5C. Up until now. Now, Gaijin has been, following the roadmap. I'm sure y'all have seen that before. They recently released a dev vlog where they were talking about some change to the tech trees that are going to be happening in the next patch. Now, a lot of these are going to be stuff like grouping vehicles, moving ranks, and stuff like that, and I'm not going to cover those all in detail here. There's other videos you can go check out if you'd like to for that. Now, what I'm going to be talking about here today is the fact that the F-5C, which is one of the best premiums that you've been able to buy for a very long time, is getting moved to rank 7. That means that everyone that currently has the F-5C is getting a free upgrade, and they'll be able to efficiently research the entire tree all over again. I'm going to have this dev blog link in the description, so if you want to go check it out for yourself, feel free. But like I said, the big thing is that with next patch, this thing is going to rank 7. This is also the first time I can think of Gaijin doing something like this with a pack vehicle, because the Harrier, for example, which moved from rank 5 to rank 6, was already $60 on launch. You can look at all the other premiums, and I think it's fair to say that now that it's going to rank 7, this thing is easily the best premium that you can get in the US tech tree now. Now, it's not the easiest. I think that would probably go to someone like the AV8, for example. But this thing is an excellent premium. You can now research the entire tree with it, and it teaches a lot more of the basics of how to actually play jets than something like an A6 or an AV8 or an A10, for example. Now, the big thing is going to be your flight performance. So this thing doesn't have good missiles. Most of it's going to come down to your guns and your flight performance, right? The F-5C has excellent energy retention, and it also has a pretty good thrust-to-weight ratio once you get up to speed. At lower speeds, not really so much, but once you're above like Mach 0.8 or so, it just kind of sits there. It doesn't like to lose a lot of energy, and what this allows you to do is to just point your nose at somebody and run them down. And every time they turn even the slightest amount, you'll catch up just a little bit more, because yes, even though they are faster than you, because the F-5C isn't really a fast plane, you just kind of sit in that speed bracket so easily that you're able to make up the difference over time. You've probably seen it yourself if you've been fighting these things. You sit there and you're watching an F-5C behind you, and every time you turn to go for somebody, the F-5C gets closer and closer and closer, and you can't really shake it. Even though you are faster than it, it's not by enough to actually make a meaningful difference. So just the fact that you already have pretty good flight performance, even though it is worse than the F-5E, for a 10.3, the flight performance is still excellent, and it's more than enough to cope with pretty much anything except for a full up tier. And I'll be talking about that a little bit later on. So, now in any case, one really nice thing with it recently is the guns. You can probably see me in the background. I have been absolutely slamming people with these guns now. So, Real Shatter recently got reverted, thank God. And these guns are actually excellent. I would recommend running HE on them just because they actually do reliable damage these days. And even though you only have 2 of them, I've still been easily one-shotting or at least crippling people whenever I hit somebody with a few shells, which is the way I think that gun should be in this game. You do get 560 rounds split between only 2 guns as well, which is going to give you tons of trigger time. And it means if you really need to, you can spray, even though I wouldn't really recommend doing so. By the way, shout out to Yenisik right here. I thought this was pretty funny. And yeah, if you crash into somebody on the runway, it does actually give you the kill. Because he didn't actually kill me with a gun right there. The explosion can kill somebody. So, hypothetically speaking, if you're out of ammo and there's somebody on the runway, you can crash your plane into them and get the kill that way. But I've only gotten to do it a few times, because it's pretty rare that you actually get the ability to do that. Going back to the F-5C though, the one other thing you get is 2 AIM-9Es. So I mentioned earlier that most of your kills are going to be coming from the guns. That's because the AIM-9E is, how to put this, it's not a bad missile, but it's very mediocre at a 10.3 VR. So the best thing you can compare this to is the AIM-9J. It's basically an AIM-9J that only pulls 10 Gs. It has the same range, it has the same motor, it has the same gimbal and seeker head and all that as far as I'm aware. It pulls 10 Gs instead of 20. So if somebody knows this thing is coming, they're going to be able to easily outpull it most of the time. Now, that's not to say that you aren't able to get kills with it, and you will. It's just you mostly want to fire these at people that either aren't paying attention, or are slow, or are otherwise crippled. They're great for finishing people off, they're great for getting people to turn. They're not really good for actually securing kills for the most part. Most of your kills in this plane are going to be coming down to your guns. And even if these were good missiles, you still only get 2 of them. So just keep that in mind. Don't be overly reliant on the missiles. And by the way, I saw something recently where people were firing their missiles like 4 kilometers. AIM-9Es do not have good range. They have better range than someone like an AIM-9B, much worse than something like an AIM-9G, for example. Think like R60-ish range, you know, about 2 kilometers or so rear aspect in most cases. Maybe more if they're going slow. But to just keep that in mind. There's a couple more things. Personally, if you do have the F-5E, I would much recommend playing that thing. I've heard otherwise. My friend Jake, for example, has mentioned that he gets a lot of down tiers in this. Personally, I did not. I actually sat down and tallied up my games, playing 12 games back to back. And out of those 12, 5 of those were 10-3, 11-3 games, so full up tiers. I had 3 that were 10-0, 11-0 games, so almost a full up tier. I had 3 more that were 9-7, 10-7, so a slight down tier, and only 1 that was a 9.3, 10.3 game. Now, when I play 10.7, I typically have a much better matchmaker. I will say that depending on which nations you queue with, that could change, because when I was playing with somebody else and not by myself, he was playing Sweden, and I did actually seem to have a better matchmaker playing with Sweden. It could be placebo, though, so just keep that in mind. Fool around a little bit, but personally, I've had a much better time with 10.7, actually getting down tiers. And even if they have the same matchmaker, just the fact that you have much better engines of the F-5E plus AIM-9Js instead of AIM-9Es makes it much more viable in this meta. That's not to say the F-5C is bad by any means, just that if you have the option to choose, I would probably recommend going for the F-5E at 10.7 specifically, and while this matchmaker is the way it is. If 10.3 starts getting a lot of down tiers again, then 100% by all means, this is one of the strongest 10.3s that you can play. It also has a Giga Crack Silver Lion modifier now, which is always nice. This thing is excellent if you're trying to, for example, farm Silver Lions. You can just pop an SL booster, go dome some people, and you're not going to have any issues whatsoever. Overall, though, this plane moving to rank 7 is excellent. I am super excited for this. It's going to give me a lot of options when it comes to what exactly it is that I want to play. And now you're going to be able to grind all the new rank 8 planes coming out with it too, like, for example, hope for the F-15 next patch. If you haven't seen that yet, by the way, I did actually make a video Sunday talking about how I believe the F-15A is going to be coming to the game next patch. Highly recommend checking that out. Well, in any case, I do hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I, for one, am really happy about this change. And if you're worried about the price, I would still just wait for the anniversary sale, because even though it's going up to $70 next patch, $35 half off is still cheaper than $60 right now. In any case, hope y'all enjoy the video. I'll catch y'all next time. So, peace y'all.